My husband saved the daughter of the Vice Minister of Rights, who had fallen into the water at a lotus viewing banquet. The two of them had skin-to-skin contact, and a marriage was hastily arranged. As a result, on the very day the new bride entered our home, she actually demanded that I, the primary wife, serve her tea. My respected mother-in-law watched coldly from the sidelines as I was being humiliated. My husband also arrogantly ordered me to hand over the management of the household, wanting to demote me from wife to concubine. Me sister-in-law, her hair full of hairpins from my dowry, sneered that, as a merchant's daughter, I should give way to the daughter of an official's family. Give way, my ass. I slapped my sister-in-law so hard she spun like a top. I caused a huge scene at the wedding banquet. Took back my dowry. Let the broke earl's mansion drink the northwest wind. I am the daughter of a merchant. My clan's businesses are spread all over the country. Liang Ji married me back then only because the Liang mansion was overly extravagant. He embezzled a large amount of funds and lived by misappropriating the court's silver. When things came to light, he could only come to my Zhang family to propose marriage, relying on my generous dowry to fill the hole in his accounts. Me father agreed to help the Liang family with money to get through their difficulties, only because the Liang family promised that my child would inherit the title in the future. 2 years into the marriage, I successfully gave birth to a daughter, nicknamed Bauer. Liang Ji despised my merchant background and was always lukewarm towards me. Me mother-in-law has the mouth of a Buddha but the heart of a snake. On the surface, she praises me for being virtuous and good at running the household, but behind my back, she is trying her hardest to make trouble for me in household affairs. I am not annoyed by this. As long as my position as the main wife isn't touched, everything is negotiable. But my mother-in-law and Liang Ji, in these 2 years of comfortable life, have gradually forgotten the destitution of the Earl's mansion, when it had to borrow money everywhere to fill the deficit for the imperial court. Zhang Yan, Zhao Zhao and I will be getting married next month. You quickly prepare 10,000 taels of gold items, 1,000 bolts of cloud brocade, 100,000 taels of silver, 300 bolts of assorted floral brocade, 20 sets of high-grade jewelry, as well as 20 fine steeds, 50 sheep, 100 jugs of Jueking wine, and a wild goose as the betrothal gift for Zhao Zhao. Ode, Liang Ji saved the daughter of the Vice Minister of Rights, Liu Zhao Zhao, who had fallen into the water at the Lotus Appreciation Banquet, and shamelessly said this to me upon returning to the mansion. Hearing this, I was stunned for a moment. Then I scoffed out loud. You are taking a concubine, not marrying a royal princess. Liang Ji ignored the displeasure on my face, and with a stern face, he said to himself, if I tell you to prepare the betrothal gifts, just go and do it. What is with all the nonsense? Since things had come to this, there was no need for me to compromise for the sake of peace anymore. Since you think what I am saying is nonsense, then you go prepare the betrothal gifts yourself. Why are you ordering me around? Could it be that you know the mansion can't afford the cost of taking a concubine? When Liang Ji saw that I, who had always been gentle and soft-spoken, was suddenly opposing him, his face instantly fell, and he pointed at me and roared angrily. You, this lowly daughter of a merchant, how dare you defy me, the Earl? This is outrageous, I angrily retorted. Merchants are lowly. Then you, who came to the Zhang family to ask for my hand in marriage, aren't you the lowest of the low? Liang Ji got anxious and, sticking his neck out to save face, said, Don't you spout nonsense when you don't know the inside story. It is because Mother adores you that I agreed to marry you for the sake of filial piety. You've benefited but are still complaining, truly unreasonable. I let out a cold snort and continued to retort. Last year, mother-in-law thought the brothel girls were unclean and forbade you from visiting brothels. Why didn't you listen to mother-in-law back then? Instead, you spent every day in the brothels, sanctimoniously using filial piety to excuse yourself. Aren't you afraid of biting your own tongue? Liang Ji's face was dark as he glared at me angrily. Your mouth is full of filth. It is simply a disgrace to the refined. I am giving you 3 days to prepare Zhao Zhao's betrothal gifts, or else you'll face the consequences. After speaking, Liang Ji flung his sleeves and quickly walked away. I watched his departing figure, my eyes brimming with rage, trying to burn the bridge after crossing it. No way. 3 days later, seeing I hadn't made a move, Liang Ji, with the wedding date approaching, could only shamelessly come to me to rush the progress. I cursed him out and drove him away. After Liang Ji left, he went to my mother-in-law's courtyard. A short while later, Lei Mama, who serves my mother-in-law, came to ask me to the mother-in-law's courtyard. I placed Bauer in the cradle and got up to head to my mother-in-law's courtyard. I wanted to see if she was as shameless as Liang Ji. Turned out that my mother-in-law was indeed shameless. After just a few pleasantries, she started saying shameless things. As the matriarch of the Earl's mansion, you need to have a more long-term perspective and plan more for the future of the mansion. The Minister of Rights is retiring in a year, and by then, Liu Jiaojiao's father will be the new Minister of Rights. Jie is marrying Liu Jiaojiao purely for his career, so be more magnanimous and hurry up and have Jie go to the Liu family to offer the betrothal gifts. In the future, when Jie is promoted and ennobled, aren't you and Bauer the ones who will ultimately benefit? Do I look stupid? My dowry, why should it be used for Liang Ji to take a concubine? He is already this ferocious to me as just an earl. If he really gets a promotion, wouldn't he beat me to death? You mother and son can prop up your pillows and go to sleep. You can have anything in your dreams. I was screaming madly inside, but on the surface, I remained perfectly calm. Mother, you've misunderstood. I have never, from start to finish, prevented my husband from taking a concubine. Seeing that I wasn't playing along, my mother-in-law immediately dropped the good attitude she just had. She glared at me sideways, caustic words spilling from her lips. If I had known you were so petty, I would have died before agreeing to let Jie marry you. From a lowly merchant family, you can't even help my son get a promotion, so be it. Now that a golden opportunity is right in front of him, you are blocking him from taking it. What a misfortune for our family. My mother-in-law droned on, spittle flying. With a cold face, I impatiently cut her off. Since you despise me so much, mother, from this day on, I will no longer manage the household expenses. If you want to eat ginseng and shark fin in the future, go ask Liang Ji for it. My mother-in-law pointed at me, trembling. You unfilial thing, say that again. I raised my voice. Since mother is so capable, please handle the matter of my husband taking a concubine. I, your daughter-in-law, am useless, so I won't be an eyesore to you here. I turned and stepped out of the courtyard gate. Behind me came the sound of shattering cups and my mother-in-law's roars. Without you, you merchant girl, my son's wedding banquet can still be held splendidly. Seeing that I had really washed my hands of the matter, Liang Ji started to raise money everywhere. One day going to my Babao Zhai, the next to my clothing shop, the day after to my cosmetics store. He went through all the businesses under my name, but unfortunately came up empty-handed, because I notified all the shopkeepers that they are not to give him a single copper coin. When Liang Ji saw that even a junior shopkeeper dared to defy him, the veins on his neck bulged, clearly enraged. But due to the many customers in the shop, he could only leave a few harsh words about killing the shopkeeper, and left, flinging his sleeves. I sent someone to follow Liang Ji, and found that since he couldn't get any money from me, he became so angry from embarrassment that he hosted a banquet for Lord Shizheng, who supervises the merchants, asking Lord Shizheng to seize my Zhang family's businesses. Good thing I had the foresight to take precautions against Liang Ji. For the past 2+ years since marrying into the Earl's mansion, I've been using my title as the Earl's wife to secretly and frequently send lavish gifts to the wives of officials. In these 2 years, even if we didn't become sworn sisters, it was enough to make them not cause trouble for my Zhang family. Sure enough, Lord Shizheng not only rejected Liang Ji, but also mocked him for being shameless. Having been rebuffed by Lord Shizheng, Liang Ji still wouldn't give up, and went to find other officials in charge of supervising merchants. Unsurprisingly, they all rejected him. With nowhere else to turn, Liang Ji was too proud to come and beg me, so he actually went and took out a high-interest loan with a monthly interest of 10%, borrowing 10,000 taels in one go. When my mother-in-law got the money, her tail was up in the sky, and while she was preparing the concubine-taking banquet, She told the servants that once Liu Jiaozhao entered the mansion, there would be no place left for me. To this, I treated it all as her farting. Soon it was the day of the concubine taking banquet. The whole mansion was filled with red silk. Liang Ji, beaming with a smile, left the mansion to pick up Liu Jiaozhao. The moment he left, I ordered the maids to change the red silk to pink silk, and to lock the main gate with an iron chain. I, the official wife, am not dead yet. Trying to step on my head and act presumptuously, not a chance. My mother-in-law wore a big red flower on her head. Smiling so widely her eyes disappeared. When she got to the main hall and looked, she was dumbfounded. How did the red silk turn into pink silk? She rubbed her eyes, looked again. And it was still pink silk. She stomped her foot and yelled at Matron Lai. What is going on? Mama Lai, utterly confused, asked the maids and servants in the main hall. The main hall was full of my people, dead silent. My mother-in-law anxiously yelled, Are you courting death? None of you are making a sound. Have you all gone mute? Still, no one paid her any attention. My mother-in-law got so angry her vision went black, and she collapsed onto Mama Lai. Just as my mother-in-law was carried away, a commotion was heard from the main gate. Liang Ji's attendant shouted, The new bride is entering. Hurry up and open the gate. My handmaiden Ying Hong rolled her eyes and said irritably, Concubines enter through the side door. You clueless thing, what are you yelling for? Upon hearing this, the smiles on the faces of Liang Ji and Liu Jiaozhao's family instantly froze. The sound of Liu Jiaozhao's sobbing suddenly came from inside the sedan chair. Liang Ji's heart ached for her. He got off his horse, and after softly coaxing Liu Jiaozhao for a bit, he then roared at the main gate. I, the Earl, command you to open the main gate immediately, or else you'll bear the consequences. Inside the gate, it was still dead silent. Liang Ji lost a great deal of face in front of all the guests, and losing his composure, he kicked the main gate fiercely. Jiang Yan, hurry up and have your wretched servant open the gate. Seeing there was still no response from inside, Liang Ji gritted his teeth and ordered his attendant to break down the gate at once. The attendant looked at that heavy vermilion lacquered gate, which also had many iron studs on it. If he rammed it with his body, wouldn't he end up all black and blue? But he had no choice but to obey Liang Ji's order. They could only brace themselves and ram the door, easing up on the impact as they hit the main gate. A short while later, the main gate hadn't budged an inch. Liang Ji lost his patience and cursed. Useless. The guests' laughter and gossip utterly humiliated Liu Jiao. She lifted the sedan chair's curtain and shouted towards the main gate. How dare a lowly merchant humiliate this young lady? I am calling my father to come punish you right now. I didn't indulge her at all and retorted loudly from inside the door. Concubines can only enter through the side or back door. Miss Liu, a noble lady from a prominent family. Don't you even understand this basic rule? My eyes darted and I continued. Mother-in-law said Miss Liu's father will soon be promoted to Minister of Rights. So I suppose you are being so brazen because you are relying on your father's influence. Since that is the case, then let's report this to the authorities, and have them judge who is right and who is wrong. When Liang Ji saw that I said something disadvantageous to him, his voice cracked with anxiety. Jiang Nian, what nonsense are you spouting? Did all the rules you learned go to the dogs? Liu Jiaozhao pursed her lips and tore the handkerchief in her hand to shreds. Lifted her butt, wanting to get off the sedan to challenge me. The mammy beside Liu Jiaozhao's mother saw that her own master was being dragged into this. Knew they couldn't let this scene continue, and hurriedly advised, Miss, the current matriarch of the Earl's mansion is Jiang Nian. If you keep making a scene, you'll only bring shame to master and madam. Hurry up and go in through the side door. Liu Jiaozhao recalled the words her father had instructed her before she left. Only then did she calm down and agree to enter the residence through the side door. When Liu Jiaozhao entered the residence, her mother-in-law had already slowly woken up, suppressing her temper while waiting for Liu Jiaozhao to serve her tea. Liu Jiaozhao properly served tea to her mother-in-law. The mother-in-law smilingly handed her a red envelope, and she accepted it with a sweet smile. When it was my turn, She immediately put away her smile. She looked at Liang Ji with a pitiful and sorrowful expression. Husband, sister just humiliated me so. Can you make sister serve me tea and apologize? Liang Ji, who had just been thoroughly angered by me, found a pretext and immediately exploded. He arrogantly ordered me, "You disgraceful thing, hurry up and serve Jiao Jiao tea to apologize." The moment he finished speaking, I picked up the tea and splashed all of it on Liu Jiao Jiao's face. A lowly concubine like you deserves to have me, the main wife, serve you tea. If you don't know the rules of being a concubine, then go back to your Liu family. Have your mother teach you properly before you enter the gates of my earl's mansion. Liu Jiaojiao's heavy makeup was ruined by the tea, leaving her face a splotchy mess. With a howl, she lunged at me. I lifted my foot and kicked her back. Liang Ji, his heart aching for her, caught Liu Jiaojiao and started screaming curses at me. "You jealous shrew! How dare you hit Jiaojiao right in front of me? You can stop being the matriarch of this household. Hurry up and hand over the household management rights to Jiaojiao." Liu Jiaojiao shrank into Liang Ji's arms, giving me a provocative look. My mother-in-law watched coldly as I was humiliated, her face full of schadenfreude. Me sister-in-law, Liang Ruiying, also hurried to make her stance clear in front of Liu Jiaoxiao, and said to me sarcastically, "You, as a merchant's daughter, have been hogging the right to manage the marquise's household. Is that appropriate? Ever since you became my sister-in-law, I felt ashamed whenever I go out to attend banquets. Now that my brother has finally married the daughter of an official, you should just obediently give up your position and go be his concubine." Screw you. I used all my strength and threw a slap, hitting Liang Ruiying so hard she spun around twice on the spot. "You want the right to manage the household. I can give it. Want to demote me from wife to concubine? No way." I gave them a resentful glance, then turned and quickly left the main hall, instructing Yinghong to start taking inventory of my dowry. Seeing me leave, Liang Ji stroked Liu Jiaojiao's slender waist and said in a soft, gentle voice, "Jiaojiao, from today onwards, the right to manage the household is yours. As for the position of the main wife, that will be yours sooner or later too." While they were gathered in the main hall, Yinghong hurriedly brought over 30 old maids and started moving my dowry to my private storeroom. 20 loads were gathered from my mother-in-law's courtyard, 13 loads from Liang Ruiying's room, and those 8 loads from Liang Ji's study. After Yinghong checked inside and out several times, confirming not a single needle or thread was missed, she came before me to claim credit. I looked at the dowry piled to the brim in my private storeroom, and with a wave of my hand gave Yinghong 20 taels of silver, and the other old maids 10 taels each. Everyone beamed with joy, but it was a different scene on my mother-in-law and Liang Ruiying's side. Damn it! My red sandalwood hollow carved kang bed, my coral bead-stringed jade screen, my jadeite hollow carved jade pillow, my gold-threaded twining peony incense burner. Why are all the decorations in the room gone? When my mother-in-law returned to her courtyard and saw the bare room, she immediately questioned the maids in the courtyard. The maid lowered her head and said timidly in a small voice, "It was the old maids sent by the madam who took them away. They said concubine Leo is now in charge of the household, and if the old madam is missing anything, she should go get it from concubine Leo." How outrageous! My mother-in-law wailed, clutching her head. After calming down a bit, she immediately took her anger out on the maids in the courtyard. "You bunch of useless trash. You didn't even know enough to stop them." The maid thought of that group of burly and stout old maids from just now, shuddered, and knelt on the ground without saying a word. Liang Ruiying was knocked unconscious by a slap from me, and when she woke up, she saw that the originally carved dressing table in her room had been replaced with a cheap wooden table. The dazzling array of decorations and more than 10 sets of precious jewelry had vanished into thin air. Upon learning that it was I who had ordered people to take them away, she stormed into my courtyard to cause a scene. "Jiang Nian, hurry up and give me back the things from my room." I couldn't be bothered to waste my breath on her, so I had Yinghong send her away. "Miss Ruiying, concubine Liu is in charge of the household now. If you are missing things in your room, go find concubine Liu." Yinghong's little face was full of contempt. Liang Ruing's face twisted with anger, raising her hand to slap Ying Hong's face. Ying Hong was quick and shut the courtyard gate. Liang Ruing's hand landed on the door panel, making her grimace in pain. Seeing that she was asking for it, Ying Hong said, "Serves you right," and then locked the courtyard gate, turned, and skipped away. Liang Ruing kicked and beat the courtyard gate with her hands and feet. The maids in the courtyard were eating snacks, paying her no mind. After cursing and swearing for a while, she left resentfully. She had just left, and right after, Mother Lai came to my door, telling me to immediately return the items from my mother-in-law's courtyard. I said the same thing as before, go find Liu Jiaojiao. Seeing that I wouldn't budge no matter what, Mother Lai left, dejected. When my mother-in-law saw Mother Lai return empty-handed, a belly full of anger burned so hot she couldn't sleep a wink all night. The next morning, Liu Jiaojiao came to pay her respects to my mother-in-law, and seeing that there wasn't a single decent thing in the courtyard, a trace of disgust showed in her eyes. Liang Ji was lost in a world of pleasure last night, and still doesn't know that I took back my dowry. Seeing the situation, he asked in confusion, "Mother, where have the decorations in your room gone?" The mother-in-law sighed endlessly. What a misfortune for our family. Such a misfortune, and isn't it all because of that lowly merchant's daughter? Hearing this, Liang Ji was furious. What? Was it Jiang Nian who took the things from your room? How outrageous. Just watch me teach that jealous shrew a lesson. Liang Ji and Liu Jiaojiao came rushing into my courtyard. Jiang Nian, you jealous hag, get your ass out here. Bauer was sleeping soundly, but was woken up by Liang Ji's booming shout. Ying Hong softly soothed Bauer, while I walked out of the main room with a cold expression. If you have something to say, spit it out. If you have to fart, let it out. Don't disturb Bauer's sleep. Liang Ji said shamelessly. Hurry up and return the things from Mother's and Ruing's rooms, and those items in my study. Since you've already taken them, replace them with some new styles. Liu Jiaojiao let out a dissatisfied little fee, and Liang Jai, having received his orders, changed his tune. Forget it. Just give the storehouse key to Jiaojiao. Jiaojiao is managing the household now, and the manor is short on many things. It is more convenient to give the key to her. I was stunned by their shamelessness, my voice laced with anger. Why on earth should I give my private storeroom key to Liu Jiaojiao? If you are still dreaming, go back, prop up your pillow, and go back to sleep. Everything I moved was my dowry. I am taking back my own things. What is wrong with that? Look at you, so greedy. An outsider who didn't know better would think you are the one from a merchant family asking me for money every single day. You shameless thing. My words made Liang Ji flush with shame and anger, and he panted like a bellows. Liu Jiaojiao lightly patted Liang Ji's chest to help him calm down. Then she narrowed her almond eyes, looking me up and down with dissatisfaction. Sister, although you are a merchant's daughter and lack etiquette, you should at least know the simple principle that a wife must obey her husband. My husband is my heaven, sister. You'd better change that habit of talking back to him. I scoffed, singing Liu Jiaojiao's praises. Since concubine Liu is so sensible, then the furnishings for mother-in-law and Ruing's rooms can come out of your dowry. Liang Ji had had enough of my attitude and didn't want to talk to me anymore. Hearing how much Liu Jiaojiao respected him, his gaze towards her was full of admiration. Jiaojiao, it was truly the right decision for me to marry you. Liu Jiaojiao just wanted to show off how virtuous she was and didn't actually want to spend any money. So she hurriedly tried to get herself out of it. Big sister, that is not what I meant. All right. You two are newlyweds, still in that inseparable phase, so I won't take up your time. I turned and entered the courtyard, and the maidservant shut the courtyard gate with a bang, forcefully cutting off Liu Jiaojiao's unfinished words. After I took back my dowry and became completely tight-fisted. My mother-in-law, who was used to eating delicacies, immediately threw a fit when she saw the table full of leafy green vegetables. She sent Mama Lai to my courtyard more than 10 times a day, asking me for bird's nest, fish maw, snow jelly, ginseng, whatever was expensive, she wanted it. I turned a deaf ear to all of it. A few days later, my mother-in-law fell ill, Liu Jiaojiao brought a doctor for my mother-in-law. When my mother-in-law saw that the doctor treating her was dressed plainly, and wasn't the head of the rejuvenation hall who used to treat her, with a look of disgust, they pulled back their hand and wouldn't let the doctor take their pulse. "What kind of thing are you? Worthy of treating me? Hurry up and get Hallmaster Lin from Huichun Hall over here." Liu Jiaojiao's mother had also hired Hallmaster Lin before, and knew his consultation fee was 10 taels of silver. An impatient look immediately appeared on her face. "Mother, Hallmaster Lin is unavailable. Dr. Xu is also a famous skilled physician. Just let Dr. Xu treat you." The mother-in-law lying in bed said tartly, "Hallmaster Lin is unavailable now. Then we'll wait until he is free to invite him. How could my body be examined by an ordinary doctor?" Liu Jiaojiao didn't know that in the social circles of women her mother-in-law's age, the competition was extremely severe. If the old madams from other manors found out that her mother-in-law was sick, and the doctor she hired was someone unknown, it would simply be a great humiliation. No matter what Liu Jiaojiao said, her mother-in-law remained stubborn and insisted on having Hallmaster Lin treat her. Having run out of options, Liu Jiaojiao turned to Liang Ji for help. Her original intention was to have Liang Ji persuade his mother, but Liang Ji knew the reason his mother was making a fuss, and without a second word, he sided with his mother, telling Liu Jiaojiao to hurry up and get Hallmaster Lin. Liu Jiaojiao was hesitant. She was the one managing the household now. If they invited Hallmaster Lin over, wouldn't she be the one paying? No. 10 taels of silver could buy several boxes of rouge and powder. While Liu Jiaojiao was still hesitating, Liang Ji had already sent an attendant out of the manor to invite Hallmaster Lin. In less than an hour, Hallmaster Lin entered the manor to treat the mother-in-law, who beamed with joy and held out her hand. A moment later, Hallmaster Lin wrote a prescription, instructing the mother-in-law to take 1 dose a day. The medicine boy, seeing that Hallmaster Lin had finished the consultation and the fee hadn't been handed over, proactively asked Liu Jiaojiao for it. Liu Jiaojiao forced a smile and told the medicine boy to wait a moment. Then she ordered her personal maid, Shuanghua, to come to my courtyard and ask me for the consultation fee. Yinghong frowned in disgust upon hearing this, and drove Shuanghua out. Shuanghua returned empty-handed, and Liu Jiaojiao cursed a few words under her breath. Seeing Hallmaster Lin's impatient face as he waited, she could only bite the bullet and pay the consultation fee. After Hallmaster Lin left, Liu Jiaojiao stared at the prescription with wide eyes. 5 taels of silver for 1 dose. This is robbery. Liu Jiaojiao thought it over. Not getting the medicine for her mother-in-law was definitely not an option. Finally, in a flash of inspiration, she swapped the expensive medicinal herbs in the prescription for cheap ones, causing her mother-in-law to vomit and have diarrhea. Liang Ruiying was of marriageable age. For any banquet held by the noble families in the capital that she could attend, she would never miss a single one. Before, she had my dowry to help her keep up appearances. So at every banquet, although she wasn't the most dazzling one, she was an unforgettable presence. Now, without the support of my dowry, she could only wear the old clothes she used to look down on. After picking and choosing for a long time, she finally picked out a passable one to wear. The maid looked at the funeral-style attire on Liang Ruiying. She hesitated to speak, but in the end, still offered a few words of reminder. "Miss, although this outfit suits you for attending the literary gathering, it is still." Liang Ruiying interrupted the maid's words, raising her head and pouting. "This outfit of mine is as elegant as a chrysanthemum. I'll definitely outshine all those gaudy, tacky women." Liang Ruiying left home in high spirits and returned to the residence dejectedly. Yinghong made some careful inquiries and found out that at the literary gathering, she was mocked by her nemesis for dressing like a mourner at a funeral. Before the literary gathering was even over, Liang Ruiying couldn't stand it and left. After returning to her room, Liang Ruiying wanted to smash things to vent her frustration, but the room was empty, with nothing to smash, so she could only throw herself into her quilt and cry her heart out. Seeing that her marriage was still not settled, Liang Ruiying went crying to Liu Jiaojiao. "Sister-in-law, all my jewelry and clothes were stolen by that bitch Zhang Nian. Now, I don't even have a nice outfit to wear to the banquet. I am so sad. Liu Jiaojiao lowered her eyes and held Liang Ruiying's hand to comfort her. You've really suffered being harmed by that bitch. Seeing that Liu Jiaojiao's comforting words were missing the point, Liang Ruiying shamelessly walked over to Liu Jiaojiao's wardrobe. Sister-in-law, could you give me a few outfits and some jewelry so I can attend the literary gathering? Once I get in with the sixth prince, you'll benefit too. Liu Jiaojiao didn't respond, just wanting to get rid of Liang Ruiying. But she didn't expect her to be so thick-skinned as to ask for things directly. I can't even get my hooks into the sixth prince, and you have the nerve to boast like that. Liu Jiaojiao grumbled a few words to herself, then she refused, saying, Ru Ying, you are so slender, my clothes wouldn't be suitable for you. Liang Ruo Ying seemingly didn't catch the meaning behind Liu Jiaojiao's words, and immediately said, Then, sister-in-law, buy me a few bolts of fuguang brocade to make some clothes, and also get me a few sets of gilded gem-inlaid headpieces. The corner of Liu Jiaojiao's mouth couldn't help but twitch. Stupid brain. Hurry and think of how to refuse. Shuanghua tapped her forehead, and Liu Jiaojiao immediately started crying, Ayo, ayo, complaining of a headache. Seeing this, Shuanghua hurriedly went forward and helped Liu Jiaojiao onto the bed. Miss Ruiying, my master's old headache is acting up again. You should go back now. Liang Ruiying threw herself into her mother-in-law's arms, crying her heart out. The mother-in-law gently patted Liang Ruiying's back and started speaking ill of Liu Jiaojiao. What kind of noble lady is she, acting so petty? She is not even as generous as that merchant's daughter. Mother will have your brother go teach her a lesson right now. I guarantee she'll behave and hand the jewelry and clothes over to you. Having gotten her mother-in-law's assurance, Liang Ruiying finally smiled through her tears. Liang Ji returned to the manor and was called to his mother-in-law's courtyard by Mama Lai. Not long after, he went to Liu Jiaojiao's room with a displeased look on his face. Little sis has only wanted a few pieces of clothing, and yet you are acting like a jealous wife, unwilling to give them to her. I am so disappointed in you. Liu Jiaojiao thought of what her father had told her, suppressing her disgust. Her voice was gentle. Husband, you've misunderstood. What little sister wants is the fuguan brocade. I don't have it in my dowry. However, in older sister's storeroom, there are several bolts, Liang Ji said with a cold face. So, what if I know there is fuguan brocade in the storeroom? That jealous shrew has a dozen strong men guarding it day and night. I can't get in at all. Liu Jiaojiao poured a cup of tea for Liang Ji, her eyes full of scheming. Husband, since older sister is so unreasonable, why don't we just get rid of her and be done with it? According to the law, if older sister is gone, her dowry will belong to Bauer. Bauer is young, so it is perfectly reasonable and legal for you, husband, to manage the assets on her behalf. It will be useless, even if the Zhang family makes a fuss. Liang Ji swallowed his tea, a trace of hesitation flashing in his eyes. Lord Zhao of the Shuntian Prefecture, Yamen is upright and incorruptible. If we kill that jealous shrew in his jurisdiction, I am afraid it will bring trouble upon us. Seeing that Liang Ji wasn't opposed, leaned down and whispered in Liang Ji's ear. A moment later, Liang Ji burst into hearty laughter. To have such a virtuous wife, it is truly my fortune. Today is the day I gossip with my close friends. Early in the morning, Ying Hong and I left the residence and got into my close friend's carriage. Mu Qing was waiting for me in the carriage. Seeing me arrive, she patted the seat to her right, motioning for me to sit over. I saw that Mu Qing's younger brother was also in the carriage, so I asked, Isn't this a sisters' get-together? Why did you bring little brother along too? Mu Feng replied, Sister Jing Nian. I got out of the carriage halfway to the ink workshop. I nodded, and just as I got settled, Mu Qing started going blah blah blah. Hooj scoop. Guess why the Song family closed their porcelain workshop a while back? They pissed off someone powerful? Wrong guess. It is because the Song siblings were sleeping together and the husband's family found out. I was dumbfounded. How did they find out? Were they caught in the act? You guessed wrong again. It was Big Sis Song who gave birth to a simple-minded child. Her husband's family, the Zhangs, are salt merchants and have some connections with the government. After pulling strings at every level, they secretly invited an imperial physician from the palace to treat the child. And guess what happened? I am not guessing anymore. Just hurry up and tell me. That imperial physician truly lives up to his title. After checking her pulse for a moment, he determined that the child was the spawn of Sister Song and her own brother, the Zhang family. Seeing how adamant the imperial physician was, and also recalling that their clan had never produced a fool, went to probe Sister Song. As it turned out, Sister Song had a guilty conscience and gave herself away. Her husband, Zhang Delang, had been seeking doctors everywhere for the child, and upon suddenly discovering the child wasn't his own flesh and blood, he was so furious, he gave Sister Song several dozen huge slaps and divorced her on the spot. The two elders of the Zhang family were so enraged they smashed up the Song family's shop that very same day and sent that simple-minded child back. The most horrifying part of this is that the old Song couple actually knew all along. Before Mu Qing could finish speaking, the carriage suddenly stopped short and a burst of lewd laughter came from outside. The carriage curtain was lifted, and what appeared before them were 5 fierce-looking robbers. The robber with a scar on his face said to Mu Feng, "Kill this man, chop him up, and feed him to the dogs. As for the woman, we brothers will keep her to have some fun." Upon hearing this, anger appeared on Mu Feng's handsome face. "What do you mean? Why don't you kill the woman and let me have fun with you brothers? You are favoring women over men. Are you even human?" Scarface was enraged and swung the machete in his hand towards Mu Feng. In the blink of an eye, the Mu family's guards flew out from the shadows, and with one kick sent Scarface flying straight out. In just a moment, the 5 robbers fell one after another. Mu Feng lifted the carriage curtain and said, "You reckless fools. Didn't you bother to ask around? You dare to intercept the Mu family's carriage? Drag them all away and feed them to the dogs." I tugged on the corner of Mu Qing's clothes and said softly, "They were probably coming for me." Mu Qing spoke up to stop them. "Don't kill them. Send them to the authorities and let Lord Zhao interrogate them." The guards received the order and dragged them all to the authorities. After things quieted down, I told Mu Qing about the Liang family's matter. After Mu Qing finished listening, her eyes were spitting fire. "He who strikes first has the advantage. He who strikes late meets with disaster. Nianer, you mustn't be so kind-hearted." The corners of my mouth curled up, and I said softly, "I gave Liang Ji a sterilization drug long ago. Liang Ji will only have one child in his life, Bower, and the title will also only be my Bower's." Liang Ji and Liu Zhaozhao were pacing back and forth in the manor, waiting for the news of my defilement to arrive. Unfortunately, what they got was me, safe and sound. Liang Ji and Liu Zhaozhao saw me return unharmed. The disappointment in their eyes couldn't be hidden at all. Driven by curiosity, Liu Zhaozhao couldn't help but speak. "Sister, you've returned so late, did something happen outside?" I gave an embarrassed laugh, my tone carrying a hint of teasing. "I ran into a few clueless robbers on the road, but thankfully the guards were skilled, and in a flash they dealt with those robbers, and sent them off to the authorities." When Liu Zhaozhao and Liang Ji heard the robbers had been sent to the authorities, they showed no fear at all. Looks like they cleaned up their tracks pretty well, and that was indeed the case. The next day, news came from the authorities that the 5 robbers had committed suicide in prison. I knew Liang Ji didn't have such death warriors by his side. The answer was obvious. With a lead, I threw a few hundred gold pieces at it and finally dug out the truth from Liu Zhaozhao's mother's personal mammy. The incident where Liu Zhaozhao fell into the water and was saved by Liang Ji was not an accident, but was deliberately arranged by the Liu family. This whole scheme was because Liu Zhaozhao's father engaged in favoritism and corruption, arranging for a good-for-nothing who barely knew how to read to become a court official. A colleague got some dirt on him and used it as blackmail, demanding 100,000 taels of gold. Father Liu couldn't produce the money, so he came up with a plan for Liu Zhaozhao to enter the Earl's mansion, get me killed as soon as possible, and seize the money. Liang Ji knew about this too. It is just that Father Liu described the matter of being blackmailed as needing 100,000 taels of gold for bribes to be promoted to Minister of Rights. To this, Liang Ji believed it without a doubt. Liang Ji saw that the day to repay the high-interest loan was just around the corner. Yet, I still wouldn't leave the mansion. locking myself in the courtyard day after day. He was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. When the debt collectors come knocking, what is he to do? Just as he was getting anxious, Liu Jiaojiao came up with another plan. Husband, since sister loves hiding in her courtyard so much, why don't we take advantage of a dark and windy night and burn it all to the ground with one fire? We can't. Bauer is in the courtyard too. Liang Ji raised his hand in refusal. If both mother and daughter die, according to the law, the Zhang family has the right to take back Zhang Nian's dowry. Liu Jiaojiao's lips curved into a light smile, her eyes gleaming with viciousness. Husband, you are a bit too honest. One big fire, burn up everything, people and possessions included, and that'll solve the problem. Hearing this, Liang Ji slapped his thigh. Brilliant. How did I not think of that? Jiao Jiao, you are still the clever one. The sooner the better. Let's do it tonight. At Chaoshi at the Liang mansion, flames soared into the sky. The place on fire was Mukang courtyard, where my mother-in-law lived. Liang Ji was dead set on having me killed. The large water vats in the mansion didn't have a single drop of water. The servants shouted, "Fire! Fire!" When Liang Ji and Liu Jiaojiao heard it, they lay in bed grinning from ear to ear, their faces beaming with joy. Half a shikan later, after they'd had their fill of laughter, they went out to check, only to find out that it was Mukang courtyard on fire. Liang Ji's face instantly turned deathly pale, and he took off sprinting towards Mukang courtyard. At this point, my mother-in-law had already become a charred corpse. Liang Ruing collapsed on the ground, wailing loudly. "Mother, now that you are gone, how am I supposed to get married? After mourning for 3 years, I'll be an old maid." Fortunately, aside from my mother-in-law, everyone else in the mansion was safe and sound. The moment the fire started in Mukang courtyard, all the servants scattered like birds and beasts. All of this was thanks to what my mother-in-law did last year, docking the servants' monthly wages to celebrate my sister-in-law's birthday. Liang Ji was so angry his eyes were bloodshot, shouting and roaring that he would have all the servants of Mukang courtyard caned to death. With a wave of my hand, I directly dismissed all the people from Mukang courtyard from the mansion. Liang Ji turned his spear around, trying to pin the blame for mother-in-law's death on me. I covered my face, feigning sorrow. "My husband," the servants reported that the fire was suspicious. "It must be arson. I will send someone to report it to the authorities right now. Lord Zhao is wise and brilliant. He will surely get justice for mother-in-law." Liang Ji had a guilty conscience, and the moment he heard about reporting to the authorities, he felt all prickly, and immediately changed the subject. "Enough." The huge Earl's mansion suddenly caught fire. "How are you managing the household? You still have the face to mention reporting it to the authorities. Do not let such a disgraceful matter spread, or else I'll hold you accountable." I seized the opportunity, and said sharply, "Husband is right. Concubine Leo managed the household poorly. The large vat at the entrance of Mukang courtyard didn't even have a single drop of water. Yinghong, give concubine Leo 50 slaps to teach her a lesson." Liang Ji was angry, so he didn't stop it. The dowry maids in Liu Jiao's courtyard were no match for the burly servant women Yinghong brought. After the 50 slaps, the corners of Liu Jiaojiao's mouth split open. Her face was too swollen to look at, and she had also lost 3 teeth. Liu Jiaojiao resentfully sent Shuanghua to her maiden home for reinforcements. I closed the account book, my face full of ridicule, just a mere concubine. So, what if I hit her? The next day, the entire mansion was in mourning white. While they were mourning, a dozen burly, broad-shouldered men burst into the mourning hall. "Yang Ji, hurry up and return the 11,000 taels of silver you owe our master." Upon hearing this, Liang Ji's expression was terrified. The person who lent him the money had a powerful background. He couldn't afford to provoke them, so he hurriedly came over to pull at me. "Nianer, quickly give them the money. Don't disturb mother's peace in the afterlife." I flung off Liang Ji's hand and threw myself onto my mother-in-law's coffin, letting out a howl. "Mother, your daughter-in-law can't bear to part with you. Please take me with you." As soon as the words left my mouth, my eyes rolled back and I fainted. Me, quick-witted little maidservant, dragged me away with a whoosh. Liangji's mouth was wide open as he rushed towards me, but the debt collector grabbed him by the collar and pulled him back. Stop dilly-dallying, hurry up and pay back the money. If you don't pay today, we'll chop off a finger. If you still don't pay tomorrow, we'll chop off an arm. The glint of a blade flashed across Liangji's face. He was truly scared. These outlaws really dared to chop him up. Liangji's gaze quickly swept over the people who had come to offer condolences, and he blurted out, "Warriors, get the money from them. They are all from the branch families of my Liang clan. What I owe, they owe." Seeing that Liangji was trying to drag them into this mess, the mourners all scurried away and vanished in a flash. The debt collector raised his blade again. Liangji repeatedly begged for mercy and led them to my private storeroom. The debt collectors looked at the entrance of the private storeroom, where more than 20 burly, strong men were standing. He backhanded Liangji across the face, and a tooth flew straight out. "How dare you mess with us? We'll chop you up right now." Liangji clutched his face, his complexion turning ashen with fear. He hastily led the debt collectors to Liu Jiao's courtyard. But after searching it inside and out, they didn't find a single valuable item. Of the betrothal gifts Liangji gave to Liu Jiao, Liu Jiao hadn't brought a single copper coin into the Liang residence. The dowry chests were all filled with cheap trinkets, just for show. This thoroughly pissed off the debt collectors who had been rummaging through them so hard. Only when his finger was about to be chopped off was Liangji finally willing to take out the property deed to pay off the debt. The mansion, with its excellent location, was sold just like that. After paying off the debt, plus the severance pay for the servants, Liangji had hardly any money left. He couldn't even afford a decent place to live. He completely gave up on himself, disregarding the mourning period, and gave Liang Ruing to a rich merchant as a concubine in exchange for a decent courtyard house. Liangji brought it all upon himself. Yet he blamed all this misfortune on me, wishing he could find an opportunity to kill me right away. I felt the same way about him, so I made the first move. On this night, Liangji was walking home, dead drunk. As he was crossing a bridge, he stepped on a melon peel accidentally dropped by a vegetable-selling uncle, and fell into the river. By the time he was discovered, he was as dead as a doornail. At this time, word spread in the capital that the Liang family had fallen in just over a month. And it was because of the jinx Liu Jiao. I was so scared that I immediately divorced Liu Jiao and sent her back to the Liu family. A few days after Liu Jiao returned to her parents' home, the entire Ministry of Rights Vice Minister's mansion was ordered to be seized by the emperor. Liu's father's act of favoritism and fraud, interfering in the imperial examinations, was exposed. The emperor was furious. Liu's father was executed by being cut in half at the waist, and the rest of the family was exiled to Lingnan. And my Bower, 1 month later, inherited Liangji's title of nobility.